This is Engage in New York, Module 2, Lesson 25, Concept Development. We are going to, remember, our objective today is to use basic facts to approximate, so estimate, decimal quotients with two-digit divisors. So basically what we've been doing before, right? All right, so what we're going to start with is 39.1 divided by 17. So what we're going to do is we're going to estimate. So 39.1, we could just round to 40, right? And you would round 17 to 20. Now, we could cross off our zeros, and 40 divided by 20, which is 4 divided by 2, is 2, right? Now, 3.91. So look, all they did was change the placement of the decimal here, right? So instead of 40, we're going to round to just, show me with your fingers, what would you round 3.91 to? Yeah, I would round to 4 also. And what would you round 20 to? I mean 17 to? 20. Okay. Now, something I want you to remember, our division problems are really fractions. Division problems are really fractions. Fractions are also decimals. So division, fractions, decimals all go together, okay? So now what we're going to do here, though, we're going to make this one a little bit easier and go 4 divide by 10 divide by 2. Okay, now, what do you know about dividing by 10? You know that there is a decimal that lives on the other side of a whole number, correct? And you're going to move that decimal how many times? Show me with your fingers. That's right. You're going to move it 1 time. That's right. Now you have 0.4 divided by 2, right? And 0.4 divided by 2 is 0.2. Now remember, think about this for a second, friends. Jose? Okay. You have one number behind the decimal here when you're dividing right here. So guess how many numbers are behind the decimal in your answer? 1. So I want you to remember that. That's one of those little things to check, like a mental check. All right, now let's go 63.6 divided by 73. So let's start off. What are you going to round 73 to?
70.
Okay. What should we round 63.6 to? 60. But what do you know about basic multiplication facts? Because remember, that is our objective today. I can use basic facts. So what do you know about the number 7 and the number 63? Are there 2 factors that can multiply together to make 63?
No. Well, yeah.
Okay, Daphne.
Yeah.
So 9 times 7 equals 63. So let's just keep this at 63. So let's break this down. 63 divided by 10 divided by 7. Now, let's divide, and we know that there is a decimal that lives right here on one side of that 63, right? And we're going to move it how many times? That's right, 1 time. So 6.3 divide by 7. Now, you already know that 7 times 9 is 63, right? So you know, and how many numbers are going to be behind the decimal in your answer? How many numbers are going to be behind the decimal in your answer? Yes, 1. And you already know the factor that's going to make up that answer, right? So you know your answer is going to be 0.9, right? All right, now instead of 63.6, we have 6.36. So let's come over here and play around with these numbers. So we're going to round 73 again to 70, right? All right, so now we have a decision to make. So 6.36. Let's round that. But let me show you, let me give you an example of how to round this. 6, but you know what? Let's keep the decimal this time. Let's keep 6.3 because we know that 7 times 9 equals 73. And we're going to be able to divide and not have remainders this way, okay? So let's just keep what we know. Now, 6.3 divide by 10, divide by 7. Now, let's move that decimal again, right? Oh, look at that. Now, we have 0.63 divide by 7. Question, how many numbers are behind the decimal? How many numbers are behind the decimal of the number that we're dividing now? Yes. So how many numbers are going to be behind the decimal in your answer?
2.
Yes, 2. So, and we already know that 9 times 7 equals 63, right? So we know our answer is going to be 0.09 because I have to have 2 numbers behind the decimal, right? All right. Number 3. We're going to do this there are many ways to do this problem, and I'm going to show you 3 ways to do this problem. 4 ways. I'm going to show you 4. Just to be fancy. No, I'm going to show this to you because there are several different ways to do it. So I want you to write down the 4 different ways I'm going to show you because maybe one of those ways actually really works for you personally best. Okay? So let's go. Option 1. Let's go 11.72 divided by 42. So let's start out by using the unit form. Let's go 1200 hundredths divide by 40. Okay. Now, what if we just get rid and end up with 120 hundredths? And now we have 4. That's going to give us 30 hundredths. And as a decimal, it's going to be 30 hundredths. Okay? Option 1. Option 2. Let's go 11.72. I'm just going to round that to a simple whole number. I'm going to round 11.72 to 12. And I'm going to round 42 to 40. So now what could I do next? So let me decompose 40. 12 divide by 10, divide by 4. Well, I know a decimal really does live right there. And now I'm going to divide by that 10. I'm going to move it over. 1.2 divide by 4. How many numbers are behind my decimal that I'm dividing now? That's right, 1. So how many numbers are going to be behind my decimal? 1. And I know that 3 times 4 equals 12, right? So I know 0.3 is going to be my answer. Or 30 hundredths, like that. All right. Option 3. All right, let's try option 3. Let's simply go 12 divided by 40. Let's go 12 divided by 40. You have to write down these options. 12 divided by 10 divided by 4. Oh, let's do, on this one, let's divide by 4 first. Let's go 12 divided by 4 is 3. Divide by 10. And 3 divided by 10 is going to be 0.30. And option 4. What is your favorite way so far?
Number 1. I like option 1.
You like 1.
I like 2.
Okay.
I like 2. I like 1 or 2.
Okay. Now, you notice that all of them are giving you the same answer, friends. So finding your way to solve is really the big idea here. And guess what? All we're doing is using basic facts to do our division. All right, and our last way. Let's going back to 120 tenths divided by 40. And then let's take this to 120 tenths divide by 10 divide by 4. Now, let's just get rid of this and end up with 12 tenths divide by 4, which equals 12 tenths divided by 4 gives you 3 tenths, which gives you. So I did the same exact problem 4 different ways and got the same answer. The big idea here is find your way. Find your way that works best, and that is what you connect with and how you solve it best and how you understand this same procedure. All of this is going to give you the same answer. Okay? Now, for problem set today, let's take a look. So, problem set, you're just going to estimate. Find your way. Find your way that works best for you. Now, for instance, if you are a 320 hundredths divided by 80 kind of person, then just solve this way. If you instead want to go 3.2 divided by 80, find your way. Pick your option and go with it. And you're going to use your option on each one of these problems, okay? Then estimate the quotient. Use your estimated quotient to estimate B and C. Oh, okay. So based on solving for A, how would you change it for B and C? How could you change your numbers up? So if you solve this one, like A, let's say A divided by 40, what could you do down here? How could you change this up to solve, instead of just a solid 8, this is 716. How would you change that? If this is just 7 and you went, 8 and 40, that works out nicely. That I can solve using basic facts, right? Well, what if you had a full-on 716? What would you estimate that to in solve? And then what would you estimate 71.62? So you're using those same skills to solve. On the back, and it seems interesting that we keep using some of the questions from the problem set on the quizzes. Might be a good idea to make sure that gets done. The problem set really does get done, correct? All right. Edward bikes the same route from school, to and from school each day. So he goes from home to school, and then he goes from school back home. So twice a day, right? He rides the same route, correct? After 28 days of school, he bikes a total of 389.2 miles. Estimate how many miles he bikes in one day. So you're going to have to use some operations to solve for that. If Edward continues his routine of biking to school, how many days altogether will it take him to reach a total of 500 miles? So all together, right? All together versus breaking something apart, right? To find out how many miles in one day is breaking things apart. Finding something that's all together uses a different operation, right? Yes? Okay. Now, Javier goes to the store with $40. He spends $60 on 13 bags of popcorn. Impressive. How much does one bag of popcorn cost? So you're going to have to solve for how much does one bag of popcorn cost, and then does he have enough money for one more bag? And it says just estimate to explain your answer. But yes, you need to explain your answer, because in math, it's always, can you justify? Can you justify what you are saying? So that will do it for concept development for lesson 25. I'm sure you will do well, because remember, you're finding your option, finding your personal option to solve.